Welcome back to Along This Spiritual Journey. So, being mindful of energies that are only a one word description. What do I mean by that? If someone's entire personality is a complaint, like every time you see them, they have a complaint. Everything they do is a complaint. No matter how good the situation is, no matter how good they have it, they find a way to make it a complaint. No different than someone who is genuinely always happy, right? Always happy. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but ask questions. Ask why they're always happy, because it means they're probably trying not to deal with something. Someone who's always mad, same thing. Why are you always mad? You can't always be mad, right? These are states of being. States of being happen when we allow our energy to become an identity versus allowing our energy to be a tool that we can utilize. Sometimes our energy can be used as a weapon. Again, that is a part of survival. It's understandable. Sometimes you have to stand up and speak up for yourself. And that's where, again, if you say the right words, you can cut somebody very eloquently without being messy, or you can be messy and chop them up, but it's going to leave a lot of mess, right? So this is the understanding of saying that I'm okay being able to express these emotions. It's okay knowing that I have these emotions, but do not become these emotions. So now your entire identity is trying to do the upkeep. So let's go backwards. If you're always mad, then you're probably not going to call in a lot of happy people because they don't want to feel like their energy's drained. On the flip side, people who are always wanting to be happy probably don't like dealing with conflict, and so they're going to have to learn how to deal with inner conflict and outer conflict. People who are always complaining, these are people who probably have it good in life, but they're just bored, so they look for things to pick apart because they don't know what to do with themselves. I could go on and on and on and on down the list of emotions. Again, we all have them, but when it comes to spirituality and emotional intelligence, it's about learning how to use them correctly, right? When you know that you feel a certain way, you're not supposed to act on it. You listen to it, you feel it, you allow it to take up space, and then when you see how much space it takes up, then you pull it back in and start creating boundaries and asking questions. This is how you don't go too deep into stuff, right? People are like, oh, well, you go so deep into their spirituality talk. Well, that's deep for you. I can go much deeper. But on the surface level, you don't want to just stay there either, because then it's going to grow into something that you might not know what it is. And when it finally comes up and you try to pull it out, it's so deeply rooted that it's trauma now, right? This is how trauma is created, because you don't deal with it at all. And then when you don't deal with it, you start masking your behaviors to become something else. And then you just say, as a crutch, this is my identity. This is who I am. That's how they always are. That's Uncle Bob. He's always grumpy. That's Aunt Maud. She's always in somebody's business, right? Like, that's not personalities. That is someone identifying with their unresolved energy, right? A personality is saying like someone's jovial, saying they're melancholy, right? Like, okay, you can say like, well, they're always sad, but feeling melancholy doesn't mean you're always sad. It just means that you're in a state of not knowing, and you just kind of like about it. There's a lot of us on this earth that are just but it doesn't mean that we become the emotion of Some of us really just know like life is what it is, and you go through it, and it's going to have its ebbs and flows, and we're not always going to be happy with the happenstance and the outcome, but we allow it and we go forth and we live. That's the only place you can be when it comes to balance, right? When they talk about meditation and all these things, getting back to center, getting back to yourself, is being able to know emotionally you're not affected by anything. You're affected by all, but it's not going to go to the point that your reaction is always going to be reactionary versus responsive to the outside stimulus that are going to affect you every single day. So instead of becoming this one uniform personality that defines your unresolved issues or defines your temperament as who you are, then ask yourself, is that where you want to be, right? Is that who you want to become? I'm okay being described as a happy person, but I don't want people to think I'm always happy, because that takes away my humanness. That means that I don't get to have a bad day. That means that I don't get the ability to say something sassy and that become something bigger, right? Because people expect me to always be nice. And if I say anything outside of nice, whoa, he must be really upset. And it's like, no, I'm just telling you in this moment, you crossed the line. I'm letting you know. don't cross it, or else we will go that far into the emotions, which sometimes come out the way people don't like, right? So logically, we have to learn how to utilize these emotions in a way that don't become us, but become a part of how we express us, okay? So it's okay to feel all the feels. The thing that happens when people start going into levels of depression, and they're like, I'm always depressed, I'm depressed. When you make that statement, I'm depressed, in that moment, your body's like, okay, let's pull out all the chemicals. Let's pull out all the thoughts and imagery. Let's put out all the work we can to say that the body is going to feel this thing that you said you are, because the mind is going to make sure it creates it. And this is why we say speaking to yourself in a way that's helpful and healthy. Again, it doesn't have to be all positive thoughts, no negative thoughts. No, don't do that. Just healthy thoughts. You can have a negative thought like, ugh, that's so stupid of me. But that's okay. I'm going to learn from this moment. I'm not a stupid person. Say this to yourself. No one's inside of your head. People are like, oh, that's exhausting. You're thinking all the time anyways. If it's exhausting to listen to your own thoughts, then love, you're going to have a very long and difficult life, which is why so many people try to use things to escape it. Stop trying to escape your thoughts. Listen to your thoughts. Understand that your thoughts are fueled by an emotion. When you figure out what emotion that is, ask if it belongs to you. If you want to utilize it, utilize it. If you don't, discard it. This is how it becomes a tool. This is how it becomes something that you can now say, I get it, I know what to do with it, and I don't have to become it. All right? I hope that makes sense. Love you.